Welcome back to Cooking with Crystal and Company. Today we're going to do a homemade meatloaf. So we're going to start off with putting everything together in a large bowl. And today we're going to put like 4.5 pounds of hamburger because we're going to make a couple extra to freeze. So we're going to put everything in one big bowl. I find it the easiest. So once you get the hamburger in there, just kind of break it up a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. So once you've got it broken up, then you're going to take some spices. And today we're going to use garlic and roasted red pepper and garlic. And always wash your hands. It should be a constant thing while you're cooking. Okay. I would say when you're doing this, add a tablespoon, a full tablespoon, because if you're not really into pepper spice and garlic spice, you don't have to add it. But I like it extra for the flavor. And normally you'd use a measuring spoon. Telling you 1 tablespoon of the garlic. You're going to mix that all through. 1 tablespoon of your roasted red pepper. And we're also going to add 2 eggs. Right in the middle. Okay. Then we're going to mix this all up. Let's just okay. Yeah, we'll get the egg all mixed in. I'm going to add some breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs. Got a lot of flavor. Just so that all these spices all get mixed in throughout. Okay, and then once you've got it all mixed, you can add more spice to it. Kind of just folded it in. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to add onion and red pepper. Okay, it's already been cut. I'm adding 1.5 cups of onion. I add a little bit of fresh green as well. And 1/2 cup of red pepper. You can also add, any color of pepper. It's someone prefers the red. Okay, so then we're going to mix that all up. We've got everything that we want for this. I kind of cut right through the meat, mixing it all. Throw that right back in there. Okay. Okay, now that we've got everything mixed into it, we've got the peppers, the onions, the garlic spice, roasted red pepper and garlic. Wash the hands. We're going to add some mushrooms next. Before I add the mushrooms, I like to cook my mushrooms. Okay, so we're going to use cremini mushrooms. And we're going to do pre-sliced creminis. They're going to go into a frying pan. Don't cook them totally, but just get some color in there. Okay, we've got the mushrooms in. Put a little bit of oil in the pan, add the mushrooms. Turn this on. Okay, let's get these frying quickly. Over there. Next, we're going to add our breadcrumbs. These are really fine breadcrumbs. Let's mix this through. It helps bind everything together. It'll, you'll notice when you take it out of the oven, you should be able to slice it.
Now, about how much breadcrumbs did you use?
I would say we've got 4.5 pounds here. I would say a full cup of breadcrumbs. You know, you don't have to make this amount, but because we want to freeze some, just cut everything back. Okay, so we've got the bread, the meat, and everything that goes with the meat all mixed. We've got the mushrooms on. Okay. Next we'll add some salt and pepper. I find fresh ground pepper is the best. You really get the flavor. I'm done there. We'll sprinkle some of this right onto the mushrooms. Sea salt, just for flavor. And a little bit on the mushrooms. Okay, so we've added everything that we need. And what I do before it goes into a dish is I squeeze it to see if it's of right consistency. And you see, when I put this in the pans, I want it to come out as a nice meatloaf. So now we're just going to wait. We're going to fry these mushrooms, add the mushrooms, and then everything is going to go in to the pans. We're going to put it in the oven at 350. We're going to preheat the oven at 350. And these meatloaves are going to go in for anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour. And I like to do mixing with my hands at the very end before it goes into the oven, just to make sure the bottom of it's got everything it needs. Okay. And you just squeeze it together as you're turning it to make sure you've got it mixed well. Okay, now that we've got everything in the bowl, we'll wait, we'll fry up these onions, add them in, and then they're going to go into some nice pans. We're also going to add a little bit of cheese for extra flavoring. We like the marble old, and it's, we'll surprise you, we'll probably do about 2 large and 2 small. We'll see what we get out of this 4.5 pounds of hamburger. Okay. And frying the mushrooms, it doesn't take long. Like, I don't want them to totally cook because they're going to go in the meatloaf, and they are going to be cooking some more. Add a little bit of margarine because I find when you add margarine, it helps cook it so much quicker and brown it. And you know, it all depends on yourself, how well you are at the stove. You can put them on, put the butter in first, let it start to melt, and feel your mushrooms, see if they're the size that you want. If not, you can chop them as soon as they come up out of the pan. Chop them before you put them in the pan. And because we all love mushrooms, we're going to leave them whole. See, and I would say fry them for at least 10 minutes. Okay, I want a little bit of color. Stay at the stove with them. Don't be walking away with your drink. Stay at the stove. This is one dish that you have to stay with because you don't want your mushrooms to overcook. Oh, it does look quite yummy. Okay, now I'm just going to leave them for a minute, let them brown, and then I'll turn them again, let them brown, and I'll do that until I see some color in them. Okay, in the meantime, I will get my pans ready for the oven. We're going to preheat the oven at 350. Okay. Preheat the oven at 350. Make sure there's nothing in there. We're going to line our cans with parchment paper. It just saves on your cans. Maybe we won't be using it. We'll see if we have enough. I think we'll be able to. We just want it on the bottom. There, I put some parchment paper in each one. I am going to bring the mushrooms. And as you see, oh, they smell good. They're just getting a little bit brown. Okay, and then once I'm done frying these, they're going to go into the meatloaf. I'm going to add 1 cup of cheddar cheese and mix it through the meatloaf. Then I'm going to use some sauce. And I'll show you what kind. It's this. You don't have to add sauce if you don't want to. Some people just love the flavors of the meatloaf alone. Today we're going to try a couple new sauces. Okay. The texture of these tells me let them cook a little bit more. They are starting to change to a nice golden brown. And you know, you don't need cremini mushrooms. You can use any type of mushrooms. Yeah, it's amazing what a little bit of margarine will do instead of oil. I find the oil soaks in and you have a hard time frying. So we're just going to let those fry a little bit more. And I'm going to make a little hole in the middle of my hamburger. I find this easy because you put the mushrooms in and then fold the hamburger into it. It just makes life so much easier for you. Okay, we're going to turn the oven off and the mushrooms off. Okay. I'm going to take these mushrooms while they're hot. They're going to sit and cool before I mix them through. Okay. Once they've cooled a little bit, then we'll mix these all the way through, and then we'll add the cheese. Okay, let's set this back out of the way. We've got the oven on. I like to keep everything cleaned and organized when you're working in the kitchen. Makes life easy for you. I know it does for me. Okay, well, those mushrooms are cooling a little. We are going to finish grating up some cheese. So we've got I would say a cup to a cup and a half of grated cheese. And cheese is optional. Yeah, it was nice of Ashley. She did all the chopping for me, pre-chopping, pre-grating. It was great. Thanks, Ashley.
You're welcome.
Okay, and I want to say a thanks to my cameraman as well, because he's just doing a great job.
Thank you.
Okay, now, these mushrooms are still hot, but I want to get these into the oven. So I'm going to mix them through so that I can add cheese. And once they go into the oven, we're going to set a timer. And when they're ready to come out, so you know, I've got the mushrooms mixed thoroughly through this. Okay, and it's nice and cool. Nothing's hot, so I can take my cheese and sprinkle it on top. Okay, and I'm just going to fold some of the meat into the cheese and push down. Into the cheese and push down. Okay, now that we've got this all done, we're gonna get our pans. We're gonna put some meatloaf in the oven. Okay, so we've got all of this. I left a little bit of cheese because we're gonna sprinkle cheese on top of one. We're gonna put some sauce on them as well. Okay, so we're gonna go to the first dish. And I just like to mix it through before it goes into my pan. They're going to be nice sized meatloaves. Okay, so we're going to push it up. Just push it down a little bit. Okay. So we got a little bit of flavor everywhere. Okay. Do the same to the next. Just mix it a little bit. Okay. Just make sure the sides of your parchment paper are up. There. So we've got a large one started. We've got a medium-sized pan. And once I get the meat all divided equally, then we're going to push it down a little. Let's see if I can do this. So that we have the same amount in both. Okay, now we've got everything into our pans. We are going to let it cook. And we'll be back. Now it's time to put these meatloaves in the oven. We're going to get them all cooked. And for one, I think we're going to sprinkle a little extra cheese on top. Okay. Normally I'd make a seam down the center of it. But I think this is just going to be more flavor because it's extra old marble. Okay, so now that we've got them all ready, they're going into the oven on 350 for 45 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, we've got 2 large ones in and 2 small. We'll check the small ones after a half an hour. They're not as thick. And then we get everything all cleaned up while they're cooking. And then we're rocking. So we'll be back. Welcome back. Okay, we've taken the 2 meatloaves out. They have sat for a while. And what I'm going to do is cut it to make sure it's done in the center. Oh my, it does look good. Oh yeah. Let's just set that there while I get the rest of it. Okay.
And how long was the timer?
It was an hour.
Okay.
Okay. That is done to perfection. Oh, oh, oh. Get it over here. Oh my. That looks really good. And if you choose to do your sauce on the side, you can. You can sprinkle a little bit of cheese on it like I did on one. And I did the Frank's Red Hot Stinkin' Honey Garlic on the other. So, let's just try one bite. Okay. I have to try the cheese with it. Mmm. Oh, that is amazing. Excellent. And then whatever you side dish, you might want a salad. You might want potato salad, macaroni salad, and that type of to go with your meatloaf. Anyhow, cheers.